Gotcha. Clickbait. No, not really. We really are going to talk about like perfect motorcycle and how that stuff kind of can work. Hang on. So before I get started, if you're not a subscriber, please become one. Secondly, today is Thursday the 25th, and tomorrow's the Friday the 26th. If you've never been to a Pro Monkey live stream, I highly recommend you do that, because me and Mrs. Monkey have an absolute blast talking smack with all of you out there. It's just the two of us reading comments and being as dumb as we typically are, involving lots of drinks. So that is tomorrow night, Friday, March the 26th at 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube. You can find the link. And, which is customary, a Sherman tank is rolling down my street, so I'll be back in a minute. Okay, those of you that are not new to the channel will know that I have a very special GoPro. There's a transmitter inside it that as soon as I hit record, it broadcasts a signal to every trash truck, delivery guy, dude pulling a backhoe in all of Palm Beach County, and it says, go to his house right now. So I hit record and the trash truck shows up or the whatnot. So I had to pause for a moment, wait for him to be gone. So today's topic comes from an interesting comment I got yesterday. So, and to back up a little bit, I don't know how many of you saw my video from the day before yesterday about that dude who said something ignorant about trailering's not for real bikers, and it set me off, because this person who was asking about it was someone who's trying to get their disabled child to Sturgis, and it just made me explode with anger. And I know all of you did too, and I apologize to those of you that got really mad about it, because I know some of you were like, that son of a, you know, like, and so I apologize if I ruined your afternoon like it had mine. But it's just something I had to get off my chest. And as a sort of a side note, evidently my GoPro has new powers. It now summons neighbors. Although, side note, sorry to get off on a tangent, I live in a very normal middle class neighborhood in Palm Beach, and not the Bentley Rolls Royce part, the normal, you know, people who work for a living side. And the stuff I see in this neighborhood, I should have a 24-hour webcam that just this crazy stuff. That lady just opened her garage door, got in her car, and just backed up and slammed into the front of her daughter's car. I mean, just right in front of me, just pow! And then pulled forward, turned sideways, and backed just sideways through the yard. I mean, it's the craziest shit I see in here. Anyway, where this started from, after my rant yesterday, I was fired up and angered in general. And then, just the worst possible time, this guy came on and said some ignorant stuff about my video I did about the CVO. I did a video where I said the CVOs are a great deal. And I want to clarify, I wasn't saying the CVOs are better. I'm not saying like, this is the greatest motorcycle and your no, I was just saying, if you just add up the parts, that the price is justified. Like if you were to take a bike and add all that stuff to it, it would cost more without labor than if you just bought that one. That was my point. I wasn't saying like, if you don't have the CVO, you're inferior. I am not saying that. I'm saying it's just the price isn't bad. And he got on there and just, I don't remember what he said, but it was freaking ignorant. It was rude. And I was already so mad, I Googled the dude's name. And he's made a career out of this. I mean, like 9 pages of Google results of this dude doing nothing but finding videos, articles, whatever he can about Harleys to go and say they suck and the people who ride them are stupid and they're all posers and I mean, like just rants upon rants. Like I'm to the point where I'm wondering if there's a little mental illness going on in there. But I'm not doing that to call this guy out. That's not the point. The point is it actually, he inspired me to sort of think of something, because obviously, assuming the guy even rides, assuming he's actually a rider and he's not just making this up because he likes to he hates people and wants to make everyone suffer, I don't know, is that what is the perfect motorcycle? Because this dude thinks he's found it, right? Whatever he rides, he said a Yamaha FJR 1300, which is a sport tourer, that I almost bought one many years ago actually, is, you know, your bike sucks compared to this because of the horsepower to weight and the handling and the So this guy thinks he's found the perfect motorcycle, and it got me started thinking, well, what is the perfect motorcycle? And then I thought it's the same sort of attitude with gun nuts, right? Because I'm a gun nut also. And it seems like you find the right one for you, right? For me, it's a Harley bagger. Doesn't have to be a CVO, but for me, it's a Harley bagger. Pistol, if I'm going to the range, I like a full-size Glock. My everyday carry is a Glock 43 single stack 9mm, because I'm a portly gentleman and it carries comfortably outside my waistband under an untucked t-shirt or something. Or in my, vest pocket in my cut, or, pocket holster or whatnot. And it got me thinking, I think there's a lot of people that they just decide that the thing that they have found is perfect for them and that all other things suck. And if you have or do anything different, you're just a moron. And I'm not sure. I think that the internet may have created that sort of personality because there's no consequences, right? Like, you can go on a thing on insert website name here, my face, whatever, and say like, anyone who doesn't ride a Sturgis is stupid. You're all posers. Not knowing that that person doesn't ride a Sturgis because they live 6,000 miles away round trip, or because they can only take so many days off, so they gotta, northbound and down to get there, or because they have a disabled child they're trying to bring with them, so they need a trailer or a truck. You just don't know the story. But anyone who doesn't do it your way is stupid. Anyone who doesn't love Glocks is stupid. Anyone who, like that sort of mentality, because you can say that and no one dot your eyes or punch you in the mouth. Because we don't do that in person. Nobody walks up to somebody at the gun range and says, I can't believe you own a Taurus, that's crap. I say that because I own a couple Tauruses. Why? Because they're cheap and they've always fired for me. So, I think I can get 3 of them for the same price as one Glock 17. So, I actually like Tauruses. I like cheap guns in general. I like Rock Island 1911s because they're $400 for what is actually a pretty damn well-made 1911, right? It's a good pistol. And in my experience, they're pretty much drop-in for Colt parts. I know I seem like I'm all over the place today. I'm sorry. I've had a monster. So, those of you who know me know this is a problem. But what is the perfect gun or the perfect motorcycle? It's what are you going to do with it? Right? So the perfect motorcycle for me has evolved over the years. Mrs. Monkey and I were laying in bed last night. No, we were literally just laying in bed. We're older. We've been together a long time. Never mind. I'm going to get off the topic. It's bad. She's going to kill me. And what I've owned over the years has changed. I started on, honestly, what do you start on? You start on the perfect bike for you when you're young and it's what you can afford. So that's why mine was an old Honda CB. And then I went to a Honda Shadow. And then I made a little money, and then I moved on. There's another video I went through every bike I've owned. I've owned about 18 and 20 years. 22 years, whatever. 19 actually, because I remembered one later that I forgot. I owned the 1995 Heritage Softail Special Nostalgia that I bought a couple of years ago, and that wasn't in my list. That's the one Evo bike that I've owned. So when you're young, it's what you can afford. And then when I got a little bit of money, I got up to the bigger new metric bikes. So I had a Roadstar Warrior, which is great because that's how I rode. I rode with young hooligans who were on sport bikes, but I still wanted a cruiser. And a Roadstar Warrior can carve turns much better than that guy, or that Heritage or whatever. So a Roadstar Warrior can reach down with your foot, fold up your peg and pull her down and do decent in a turn. So that was where I was at that point. We go out and ride a couple 100 miles in a day. We'd go over to Illinois and we would just go as fast as we could and ride like friggin' hooligans. They were all on Gixxers, or one of my buddies had a Busa, which I know is not the best handling, but still better than any cruiser. And that's what we would do all day. We'd go out to Hardin, Illinois in the middle of nowhere and see how fast we could go. And I remember my R1, because later on I got on R1, I hit 167 on a long, low straightaway in Hardin. And I remember being disappointed because I was like, it's supposed to break 180. Am I that fat? Because at the time I wasn't. And I realized I never got into 6th gear. So evidently an R1 will go 167 in 5th gear. So that's where I was at that time. And then I got a little older and my riding changed. And it wasn't so much going out and trying to thrill myself and trying to just, trying to die. you know, I wasn't doing that anymore. I was actually going out and enjoying the scenery and putting on lots of miles in a day. And me and my old man that you've seen from other videos would just go out and roll the entire river road in Illinois, the long way back to country roads of St. Charles County, Missouri, to a big circle into Cadillac Jacks, et cetera, and we would do a couple hundred miles in a day, just wandering around trying to get lost, which is the most fun you can have. And that's when that, like, I'm ready to go to a Harley thing, and so I got my Deluxe, which I turned into a Fat Boy and stuff later. Long story. Watch the other video about the bikes I'm on. And then, as things progress and you have, let's just say, someone in your life, I'm like, well, to get someone to ride with me, no, it wasn't a dude, you sick bastards out there. There's jokes flying. Oh, I'm sure he was a nice guy. No, come on there. Leave it alone. It was female. I got a police bike. Essentially, it was a Street Glide before the Street Glide existed. It was the Electric Glide Standard Police. And I got one of those. It was solid silver, and I tricked it out, chrome wheels and all that stuff. And found myself single again. And when I was single, I was like, well, I am way too cool for a bagger. Pretty sure my age started with 2 at that point, at the very end of it. And yeah, it did. So I traded the bagger in on my Crossbones. And my Crossbones, no it didn't, age started with 3. Anyway, but it was early part. And my Crossbones, one of my favorite motorcycles I ever had, was kind of right for me at that time because I was doing long rides, but I still wanted to look cool enough to maybe find someone who might want to get on the back of it, you know? So the Crossbones fit that bill. Very cool looking bike. I still end up putting throw over bags and a windshield on it because of the distances involved. As you get a little older, you start going, man, the bugs in the wind, you know, windshield fixes that. And you get a windshield and go, what have I done with my life? Where, you know, and you stop worrying about the looks of it as much. So I had the Crossbones, and I met Mrs. Monkey, and she loved to ride. So we put on every single weekend, you know. Of course, we were younger and didn't have kids or anything, so we would just hit the road and ride all day. Just to Columbia, Missouri and back, and most of the way to Kansas City and back or whatever, just for fun. And that Softail wasn't enough anymore. So I got down here to Florida and I traded it on my first Street Glide. And I have, my primary bike has been a Harley bagger ever since. I always had a Road King or a Road Glide or an Ultra, you know, I mean, I've had a few of them since then, but it's always been a Harley bagger ever since. So to the point, what is the perfect motorcycle? What are you gonna do with the damn thing? There is no such as a perfect motorcycle. Down here, it's the perfect one for you, because down here, if we go for a ride, we suit up and hit the road, and I don't know when we'll be back. If we don't have the Mini Monkey here, if she's maybe staying with her grandma or something overnight, we don't have limits. So we could decide to go to Key Largo. We could decide to go to Orlando and back for fun. We could decide to go to Clewiston and ride around Lake Okeechobee. We could decide, and just on the road all day, every day. And most of the riding down here, very few turns. I mean, I'm not even kidding. It's like friggin' Tron. You know, like you're just in a straight line, you know, for a very long time, rolling highway speeds. And any turns there's never a second one after it. You know what I'm talking about? There's no twisties down here. So it's a lot of straight line riding. So anything but this is probably not going to be as comfortable, right? A windshield, the stereo's nice, bags, that kind of stuff. Because you're just sitting in cruise control and you're rolling along, enjoying the scenery, you know, spending time with each other and whatnot. So the perfect bike is the one you're actually going to ride and ride the most. And the one you can afford. So this is not clickbait, and I hope I didn't just infuriate a whole bunch of people, but the reality is, it's whatever's right for you. And that's the one you should get. I know when I first got into RVing a few years ago, there was a channel where they said there is no perfect RV. There is no perfect pull vehicle. It's the one you can afford that'll get you started right now. Right? So if you want an RV, for example, but you can only afford X amount of money, well, you say, well, what can I afford for that? Don't wait. Get the one you can afford and the tow vehicle you can afford, and get out there and make, and they said, make some memories with your family, because RVing is typically something you do when you got kids and stuff. So that's the same point. What bike can you afford now and fits your lifestyle? If you can afford $6 grand and you want to do distance, find yourself an old Goldwing. And maybe the number's not 6, maybe it's 3, whatever. Find yourself an old Goldwing if that's what you're going to do as distance. If you're going to go out there and try and kill yourself every day, find yourself an old Gixxer. Most of them are totaled anyway. I'm kidding. I mean, come on, they all have salvage titles, right? They do. So go find yourself an old Gixxer 600 or an R6 or whatever, and go out there and please don't kill yourself, but, you know, get on the road. So this dude with his negative comment just got me thinking. It's like he has decided that his thing is the only thing, and it's just not true, because my riding is different than his, and I really am glad this guy loves bikes, assuming he actually has one. I really am glad this guy loves bikes so much that he will spend what seems like a full-time job going around and telling everyone how they're wrong and he's right. Because that means obviously he loves his bike. But the right bike is the one you'll actually get on the friggin' road with and ride. It's exactly the same thing with the right pistol. What are you gonna do with it? If you're gonna carry it, it needs to be the largest one you'll actually carry. It's exactly the same principle, right? The largest, or actually the other way around though. What's the biggest bike you can handle comfortably that you'll actually ride? If you're scared of bikes and you're 4'2", maybe an Ultra isn't the right thing to start with. Maybe a VTX, an older VTX would be right. Maybe a Honda Rebel, whatever. But it's your stature, what you can afford, what are you gonna do with it, that sort of thing. Pistol, it's the exact same thing. If you are, you know, a 4-foot, small-framed man or a woman, maybe a 1911 isn't the right one for you because it's a 4-pound gun when loaded. Maybe it's I don't know, something else. Maybe it's a Taurus because it's what you can afford. I guess the whole point is, again, back to not judging each other, you know? The right bike is the one you're actually gonna ride, the right pistol is the one you're actually gonna shoot. So, that's it. A side note, besides the live stream that's tomorrow night, I was so fired up yesterday. I went on the Teespring site and I designed a flag for this wall. Well, the S&S sign's there, but over here there's a big blank wall, and you can make tapestries on the Teespring site, the same site that has the Pro Monkey shirts and T-shirts. I'll put that down here. And I made a flag that has the Pro Monkey logo, but it just says loyalty, honor, and respect. Love, loyalty, honor, and respect. Because that was the topic of the video last time, was what does MLLH&R mean? And this dude's disrespecting this lady with a disabled kid just sent me down the rabbit hole. So I made a flag that says love, loyalty, honor, and respect. That's gonna go in that corner. And when you make something, it's on the site. So if you guys want one for your man cave, your garage, or any area, you can go to that site and you'll find that there is this flag now that says, that's black with white text, except respect is red, because that is the word that means everything. So there you go. If you want one of those, go pick yourself up a tapestry for your area of hangout. And I really hope to see all of you tomorrow night. We have so much friggin' fun. It is ridiculous. We don't do, you know, Patreons and memberships and stuff. No disrespect to anyone who does. If this is your job or whatnot, that's fine. But for us, the compensation of this channel is just conversing with everybody. So come tomorrow night, hang out with us, unless you're just gonna walk in the room and tell us we're all stupid, because then magic banning powers. All right, as I said in the last video, and I will say it every single time, take care of each other out there, be good, and I hope to see you on the road. See you, bye.